The cult of personality. I know your anger. I know your dreams. I've been anything you wanna be. Oh, I'm the cult of personality.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the D-Man Show on WFTU Radio. This is your host, D-Man. I would like to first give a shout-out to my boy, Jose. He also hosts a show on WFTU Radio called Real Talk Radio. You can hear his show every Friday from 11 p.m. to midnight. Also, I would like to give a shout-out to my Uncle Robbie, and he is part of the NYPD, and also to his friend Mike, that is also part of the NYPD. Here is your news on Long Island. Recently on Monday in Carl Place, 20-year-old Christopher Koenig was arrested for animal cruelty. Among 100 exotic animals were seized from his home. The animals that were confiscated were one tarantula in a tank, one alligator in a tank with turtles, 11 live snakes, each in their own tank, 20 turtles in 5 tanks, one marine toad, which was being kept in a plastic container, one monitor lizard, which can grow to 6 to 7 feet long with nails 2 inches long, 12 lizards in 5 to 6 different cages covered in fecal matter, 12 eggs in an incubator box, jar filled with 5 dead toads, and 5 fish tanks with multiple fish. Also on Saturday night in Hempstead, police have arrested 18-year-old Christian Soleil for grabbing a 14-year-old boy with the help of 2 other men and dangled him over a fenced area sideways to have a pit bull attack him. The boy received 3 bite marks to his leg and then went to the hospital to receive several stitches. Christian Soleil is being held on $25,000 bond for endangering the welfare of a child. The police are still looking for the 2 other men. The motive behind this is still unknown. With this kid that had all these exotic animals, how in the blue hell did he get all these animals? Like, most of these animals are completely illegal, and man, I wouldn't want to come across a monitor lizard. Man, those things are big, and they could definitely hurt you bad. And also, wouldn't want to come across an alligator. Man, you know, that kid definitely deserved getting arrested. And it's good that all those exotic animals got taken away. And yeah, he abused them pretty bad. And it's good that now the goats to more of a safer place other than still being in his home. And also, with that guy with the pit bull, you know, that wasn't right what he did to that kid. And that guy, Christian Soleil, deserves to be arrested. And, you know, it's just terrible with animal cruelties these days. And, you know, pit bulls shouldn't be like treated like that as game to attack people. And it's just like when someone owns a pit bull, like wherever people get those kind of dogs, people have to, like the places where they sell pit bulls, I feel they should do background checks of what families are getting these dogs. So dogs like that are not mistreated and they just basically grow up to be vicious. I would definitely say the places that sell those kind of dogs need to do background checks on families which families get those dogs. So I'm glad the 14-year-old boy is safe, and I hope they catch the 2 other men that did that to the boy too. here is your entertainment news. Former mixed martial arts fighter known as War Machine was sentenced on Monday to 36 years to life in Nevada State Prison for kidnapping, beating, and sexually assaulting his ex-girlfriend, adult film star Christy Mack, and attacking her friend Corey Thomas at her Las Vegas home in 2014. David Spade's Beverly Hills home was robbed late last week. When the suspects got into his home, the only thing they took was his safe. Unfortunately, it was filled with cash and jewelry, including a wedding band that belonged to his mom. They made off with about $80,000 worth of stuff. With that guy, War Machine, I'm glad that he finally gets what he deserves. It was absolutely, I remember when he did that back a few years ago. Absolutely terrible what he did to that girl. I saw the pictures. Man, her face was pretty bad, battered pretty bad. You never lay a hand on a woman. You never do that. And I'm glad that he got a sentence like that, 36 years to life in prison. He definitely deserved it. Also, with David Spade's home, I wish him the best of luck. I hope that he catches the robbers that did that. You should never steal from someone's home, but he definitely has cameras. So hopefully they catch the guys that did that. All right, coming up in a bit is your sports news on the D-Man Show. We'll be right back.
Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted, one moment that you captured, just let it slip. Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, plow. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stagnant. He knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go capture this moment and hope it don't do it. Lose itself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better. The soul's escaping through this hole that is gaping. This world is mine for the taking. Make me king as we move toward a new world order. A normal life is boring, but superstardom's close to postmortem. It only grows harder, homie grows hotter. He blows, it's all over. These fools is all on him. Coast to coast shows, he's known as the Globetrotter. Lonely roads, God only knows he's grown farther from home. He's no father. He goes home and barely knows his own daughter. But hold your nose, cause here goes the cold water. These don't want him no more. He's cold product. They moved on to the next mo who flows. He knows dove and sold nada. So the soap opera is told, it unfolds. I suppose it's old partner, but the beat goes on. You better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music, the moment you own it, you better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better. No more games, I'ma change what you call rage. Tear this roof off like two dogs' cage. I was playing in the beginning, the mood all changed. I've been chewed up and spit out and booed off stage, but I kept rhyming and stepped right in the next cipher. Best believe somebody's paying the Pied Piper. All the pain inside amplified by the ride with my 9 to 5, and I can't provide the right type of life for my family. Cause man, these damn food stamps don't buy diapers. And there's no movie, there's no Mackay Pfeiffer. This is my life, and these times are so hard. And it's getting even harder trying to feed and water my seed. Plus, see the thought I caught it between being a father and a prima donna. Baby mama drama screaming on her too much for me to wanna stay in one spot. Another damn monotony's gotten me to the point I'm like a snail. I've got to formulate a plot or end up in jail or shot. Success is my only option. Failure's not. Mama love you, but this trailer's got to go. I cannot grow old in Salem's lot. So here I go, it's my shot. Feet fail me not. This may be the only opportunity that I got. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better. You can do anything you set your mind to, man.
Welcome back to the D-Man Show on WFTU Radio. Here is your news with sports. Former NBA player and head coach Derek Fisher was arrested on suspicion of DUI early Sunday morning after an accident that resulted in his vehicle flipping over in California. He was also with his girlfriend, former Basketball Wives reality star Gloria Gavan. She was not injured in the crash. Derek Fisher, 42 years old, played for 18 seasons in the NBA, winning 5 titles with the Lakers. He also had stints with the Golden State Warriors, Utah Jazz, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Dallas Mavericks. He was also the head coach of the New York Knicks between 2014 to 2016 with a record of 40-96 before being fired in his second season. Also, New York Giants wide receiver Roger Lewis was arrested early Sunday morning and charged with operating a vehicle while impaired in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Roger Lewis, 23 years old, made the Giants as an undrafted free agent in 2016 after 2 seasons at Bowling Green University. He was charged with 2 counts of rape as a high school football star in Ohio. A jury acquitted him on 1 count, but he was deadlocked on the other. He eventually pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor for falsification. He was sentenced to 3 years probation, which ended last September. Of what happened with Derek Fisher, man, why could you just get a taxi or an Uber? And if you're not fit to drive, if it's, I don't know if it's like with Tiger Woods, like prescription medication, or I don't know if you're doing marijuana or drinking. Whatever the case is, get an Uber or a taxi and don't be an idiot and drive a car when you're not fit to drive. And same thing with Roger Lewis. Man, what happened with Roger Lewis, like with his rap sheet, even with that rape situation that happened back in high school, definitely a possibility after that happened. He could be cut by the Giants, and I would understand because the Giants don't need this publicity. So I guess we'll see what happens with that situation with Roger Lewis, because stuff like that shouldn't be happening. And man, I remember Derek Lewis when I meant to say I remember Derek Fisher when he used to be the head coach for the Knicks. He was absolutely atrocious. I don't even know if he'll be a head coach in the NBA again. He's not that good of a coach, but you never know. Anything could happen in the NBA. We'll see if he'll ever come back as a head coach in the NBA. Also, who will win the NBA Finals? The Cavaliers or the Warriors? Definitely the Warriors. They are up 2-0 in the series. Plus, the Warriors are doing really good. I think with playoff wins, they're like 14-0. They're doing really well, and definitely they're much better, especially when they acquired KD. And I don't know if the Cavaliers have what it takes to come back. Well, you never know with LeBron James. Yeah, LeBron James is a very good player. If last season in the NBA Finals that LeBron James and the Cavaliers can come back from a 3-1 deficit, you never know. It could happen again. But I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely Warriors are going to win this year. I guess we'll see what happens with that. Here is D-Man at the Movies. I recently went to the theater to see Wonder Woman. Now I'm going to give my review and opinion on it. Wonder Woman is a superhero movie of how a woman named Diana, known as Wonder Woman, tries to save the world from a war created by the god of war Ares. She goes from one part of the world, known as the island of Themyscira, where the supernatural women of the Amazons live, and to help fight in another part of a world where normal people live. Men and women live in that part of the world known as Europe. Diana helps fight in a war called World War I against the Germans and the god of war Ares. She ends up fighting in World War I because an American spy named Trevor, that was an undercover spy spying on the Germans, ended up crashing his plane in the ocean where Diana lives, and she saved him out of the ocean. After Diana saves him, Trevor explains how terrible World War I is and how millions of people already died. Diana then teams up with Trevor and heads to Europe to try to save more people from dying and try to end World War I. I meant World War I once and for all. My positive reviews on it was I liked how in the beginning of the movie it shows how Diana turns into Wonder Woman from all the training she received from the Amazons. I never knew originally Diana grew up in just a world of women with no men around. Also, I liked seeing the island of where she lived. When seeing the island in the theater, it's absolutely beautiful, and it makes you feel like you are really there. Throughout seeing the rest of the movie, I was surprised how she had to help fight in World War I. It was totally unexpected. I thought she would not fight in a war like that. I originally thought she would fight in a medieval type of war. It was just really interesting how she stepped in one world and entered into another world of fighting in World War I. All the fighting scenes throughout the movie were really entertaining, and I enjoyed every single fighting scene. Seeing the fighting scenes will make you jump out of your seat, and they were crazy. I recommend you to see Wonder Woman, and it was a great movie. My negative review on it was, in the beginning and the end of the movie, when I saw scenes of Wonder Woman working in an office for Bruce Wayne's corporation, Wayne Enterprises, the movie never went into more detail of how she came across working for Bruce Wayne's corporation. I think the movie should have went into more detail of how she came across working for Bruce Wayne. Here is D-Man's Back in Time. On this day, June 7th, 1989, Wayne Gretzky wins his 9th MVP award in 10 years. June 7th, 1994, Rickey Henderson steals his 1100th career base. And June 7th, 2004, the Tampa Bay Lightning beats the Calgary Flames in the Stanley Cup 4-3. I hope you enjoyed today's show. The D-Man Show will be back next Wednesday at 12 p.m. See you next week.
If you smell
What the D-Man Show
is cooking.